Om Sairam to all the Sai Bandhus. By the immense grace of Shri Sainath Maharaj, let us all now heed to the biography of great apostle of Shri Sai Baba, Pujyashri Narasimha Swamiji, narrated in the book As the Flower Sheds Its Fragrance by DR.G.R. Vijayakumar. Some reminiscences. In the course of his long and eventful life, both as a lawyer and politician, and later as the itinerant evangelist of the Sai movement, Narasimha Swamiji travelled all over India and many people came in contact with him. Following are a few reminiscences. Some of them have been culled out from the speeches and writings of the persons concerned. Justice Shri M. B. Reg, High Court Judge, Indore. Shri Narasimha Swamiji is a personality by himself and spiritually as well. His disciplined behavior and punctuality are praiseworthy and are worthy of emulation. He possesses a heart of gold, and his services to humanity through Guru Seva is politically, religiously, and spiritually commendable. Narasimha Swamiji's sacrifice is greater than the sacrifice of any of us in the service of Sai Baba. We are lucky indeed that we have the physical Sai Baba in the form of Shri Narasimha Swamiji along with Sai Baba's spirit, a remarkable case of 2 in 1. Swami Sivananda, Divine Life Society, Rishikesh. Shri Narasimha Swamiji is really a blessed and saintly soul. He also had the intense saubhagya of being mysteriously drawn to Sainath Maharaj, who had lovingly revealed to him the divine Swarupa. The joy of his discovery and revelation has fired Narasimha Swamiji with an intense desire to share his blessedness with one and all in this sacred land. I was one of the lucky recipients of Narasimha Swamiji's goodwill and affection. He assigned me the editorship of the moral and spiritual teachings bequeathed to us by Sai Baba and the magazine published from All India Sai Samaj, Sai Sudha. Kavi Yogi Swami Shuddhananda Bharati. What is impossible for faith? What is rare for a strong devoted soul? What Saint Paul, Ananda, Saint Francis, Swami Vivekananda achieved for their teachers, Shri Narasimha Swamiji has achieved for his impersonal master, the wonderful Sai Baba. Swami Rajeshwarananda. Man needs today not more drugs but health, not more of laws but honesty, not more law but more love, not more knowledge but culture and character, not more societies but unity, not more nations but humanity, and not more doctrines and dogmas but divinity. Our Narasimha Swamiji stands for such a life. Narasimha Swamiji and myself were staying together at Ramanashram for some time and drinking deep the nectar of bliss. Sri C. Rajagopalachari in a speech at Salem. Sri Narasimha Swamiji and myself are childhood friends. When we grew up, both of us took up the legal profession. Strangely enough, when we both of us bade goodbye to Salem, each of us left Salem in response to a different set of circumstances, and each took a different path. While I went to what might be called the political ashram at Tiruchengood, Narasimha Swamiji went to the spiritual ashram of Ramana at Tiruvannamalai. Sri B. N. Dattar, Honorable Minister of State for Home Affairs, Government of India, New Delhi. Sri Narasimha Swamiji's life has been an inspiration to all who cared to know the exact meaning of life. Many of us know how to accumulate wealth, but very few of us know how to renounce wealth. Therefore, I value more not only the renunciation of worldly life virtually, but also the great service that he rendered in the cause of religion and spirituality. Just as Mahatma Gandhi created mass consciousness about freedom among the Indian people, Narasimha Swamiji created throughout the length and breadth of our country the taste for Sai devotion. Thanks to Narasimha Swamiji, all this has happened, and Sai Baba's name has become a household word everywhere in India. It has captured the hearts of every one of us everywhere. Narasimha Swamiji has changed the face of India as far as Sai devotion is concerned. Sri V. M. Ramaswamy Iyer. I have known Sri Narasimha Swamiji from his student days. Even in his youth, Narasimha Swamiji had a religious bent of mind. At school, he was attracted by the life of Jesus Christ and studied the Bible. Later, he was attracted by the life of Sri Sorakai Swamiji, who had his ashram near Vellore, and at his expense, Narasimha Swamiji wrote a biography of this Swamiyar and distributed it free. No doubt, because of his able advocacy and eloquence, Narasimha Swamiji established himself as a leader of the legal profession in Salem. What, however, won him the love and lifelong attachment of his clients was his kindliness and compassion for the suffering clients. Sri J. N. Bose, Kolkata. It was in 1941 that I had the rare luck of meeting Sri Narasimha Swamiji in Kolkata. He taught me many valuable teachings of Sai Baba. The remarkable thing about Sri Narasimha Swamiji was that in features and appearance he resembled the rishis of the Vedic age. He never wasted even a minute's time excepting for a short sleep at night. He used to write something on Sai Baba or talk about him whenever a devotee came to him. Even during his train journeys, he used to write books. Shri S. Ramanathan. I met Narasimha Swamiji just a few hours before he passed away on 19th October 1956, and I was amazed to see that Swamiji was totally unconcerned and fearless about death. The usual peace and calmness of his mind radiated on his face. Trusting God and his Guru, Swamiji had conquered death. Though he is no more physically, he will guide the destiny of the Sai movement in our country. Professor K. R. R. Shastri. I met the veteran lawyer politician Narasimha Iyer in Salem in 1920. When I was the presiding officer at a polling booth in 1941, I met him at Madras after his renunciation. Later, I met him in Allahabad when he addressed 5 public meetings on Sai Baba. Assiduous students would find that both Ramana and Sai Baba attracted not merely Hindus but Muslims and others. Both upheld the equal validity of all religions. Sai Baba, after treading both the Muslim and Hindu paths, guided all. Ramana Maharishi had devotees from all faiths. It is a striking coincidence that the world outside knew of both these saints through the pioneering studies of Narasimha Swamiji. Professor K. Panchapakesan, Pudukkottai. Not content with the blessings of personal moksha and salvation, Sri Narasimha Swamiji had, with characteristic generosity of purpose, faith, and flaming devotion to the message of the Lord, awakened other slumbering souls and baptized them into a new life and a new sense of realization of the eternal spiritual values. Sri P. Panini Rao, President, All India Sai Samaj. Narasimha Swamiji was a simple soul with the heart of a child. While exhorting the people to surrender themselves to the will of Sai Baba and place before him their troubles, Narasimha Swamiji used to ask the devotees who needed guidance in choosing a course of action to write out the several options to their problems on bits of papers, fold them up, put them up before Shri Sai Baba's picture and pick up one of the bits. This was a way of making a choice with divine guidance by drawing lots. Sri K. P. Ramakrishna Iyer, Advocate, Madras. Sri Narasimha Swamiji was instrumental in spreading the gospel of Sai Baba among the people. There was a personal magnetism in him, as was evidenced by the fact that many were inspired to come under Sai Baba's influence and immensely benefited by his mission and teachings. Guru's Grace by Pujyashri Narasimha Swamiji. Everything needs Guru's grace. When Guru's grace descends, the heart blossoms forth like a lotus when the sun shines upon it. When thus opened, he feels that his heart encompasses the whole world of his relationships and shapes his conduct and destiny through the promptings of his heart. A kind heart is a spring of joy to all within its reach. So let everyone allow his or her heart to speak and tread in the paths of spiritual life, refreshing the shade of truth and love. I feel forlorn in Sai love. He has possessed me and I have surrendered my all to that living Chaitanya. Pujyashri Narasimha Swamiji. Epilogue. This book, as the flower sheds its fragrance, containing the unique story of Narasimha Swamiji, is quite fascinating. It is indeed a sacred story to read and recapitulate. Narasimha Swamiji himself has written his story, and I am, that is the author DR.G.R. Vijayakumar, only an instrument. Leaving aside great scholars and men of wisdom, Narasimha Swamiji has chosen me as his instrument. I am only a common man, says author DR.G.R. Vijayakumar, without any learning or knowledge of scriptures. Is this not a great wonder? Narasimha Swamiji's story will remove the threefold afflictions. Even a cursory reading of his life story would enable one to get abundant spiritual benefit. Therefore, please read this book lovingly so that crores of your sins will be destroyed. Those who want to escape the life cycle of births and deaths should follow Narasimha Swamiji's advice to cultivate a ceaseless devotion to the holy feet of Sai Baba and to chant his holy name Sai Ram. Once the mind is completely filled with Sai, that is renunciation of worldly life. I bow down to Narasimha Swamiji, to whom all devotees are equal, who knows no respect or disrespect, whose mind has no likes and dislikes, and who shows not the slightest inequality in his treatment of others. May this sacred book find a place in the homes of all for daily reading, for it will ward off all the difficulties of the reader. When the book is read with reverence, Sai Samarth is pleased and destroys the poverty of ignorance, giving the reader wealth and prosperity of knowledge. It was Sai Baba's plan to bring out this work. Blessed is the life of that devotee who is firmly attached to his feet. He who has any thought for his own good should read Narasimha Swamiji's story sincerely, and birth after birth he will happily remember Sai's beneficence. O readers, let me pray to Narasimha Swamiji. O Gurudeva, burn down my karma and akarma, that is inaction, ward off my bad qualities and dispel delusions born of Maya. Clear my mind of doubts and make me steadfast and firm of purpose. I do not want merit, nor do I want sin. I, in truth, relieve me from the cycle of births and deaths. O Gurudeva, when I surrender at your feet, you stand on all my four sides. Your presence fills all the places, and you dwell in me too. Or rather, the idea of separateness between you and me is painful indeed. Hence, I surrender to you to attain upliftment. O Gurudeva, as the flower sheds its fragrance while making this biography, you have brought forth a miracle indeed. You have written your story for the upliftment of your devotees. I am only a namesake. It is impossible to write your story for a lowly creature like me. I do not have the capacity to chronicle the life of a saint of your eminence. I have only a doubting, unbelieving mind. Never have I done upasana with a steadfast mind, nor have I sung bhajans with all intensity. And it was with such hands that you have got your life story written, to show to the world that you are the author. Can a fly ever lift the Meru mountain, or a lapwing suck the ocean? But when the Sadguru stands behind you, he makes marvelous things happen. And so, my Guru Bandhus, I now make obeisance to you. This book is complete and is offered at his feet. Such a book, when studied, will satisfy one's desires. When Sadguru's feet are clasped to the heart, the ocean of worldly life will be crossed over safely. Those affected with disease will regain health. The poor will become wealthy. Doubts and misconceptions will give way to stability and peace, and even the poor and the object will become generous. By reading this book repeatedly, those suffering from demonic possession or fits of epilepsy will become free of them. Even the dumb, disabled, the lame and the deaf, by reading this will be happy. Even those who engulfed by ignorance will be uplifted. In comprehensible are the doings of Narasimha Swamiji. He has firmly and totally absorbed me at his feet and making me serve him. He has got this work completed through me. In the end, I offer my pen and my head without any reservation at the feet of the Trinity, Sai Baba, Sri Narasimha Swamiji and Sri Radhakrishna Swamiji, who control and sustain the whole world and inspire the mind. May their blessings be on one and all. DR.G.R. Vijayakumar. Dear Sai Bandhus, by the benevolent grace of our all-merciful Shri Sadguru Sai Maharaj, with the abundant blessings of his apostle Pujyashri Narasimha Swamiji and Sri Radhakrishna Swamiji, we have completed the most enthralling biography of Pujyashri Narasimha Swamiji. With all humility, I prostrate at the holy feet of the Swamiji for blessing us to listen to his divine journey with Shri Sadguru Sainath Maharaj. I beg their pardon and the devoted listeners for mistakes if any. I humbly pray to our Shri Sai Baba to bless the author Shri Vijayakumar ji abundantly and all those who are listening to these episodes with loving devotion, unswerving faith and patience. Bow to Shri Sai. Peace be to all. Om Sairam.